welcome, Kayla.
Hi.
Kayla, who writes under pen name KD Ellis, will be at the Festival of Books and Creativity at the end of June in Novi, Michigan. You have about a dozen books.
Yep.
Please tell us about those books.
So I started with some contemporary books. So this is my Out in Austin series. This is the first series that I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, book 2 is actually the first book that I wrote and finished. And then one of the side characters in there just was screaming that he needed his own book. And as I
Oh.
wrote that book, I realized that chronologically it made more sense to come first. So
Oh,
the first one published is Teddy's Truth. And
okay.
the second one that I wrote, but it's the first one that ended up. So that one is about Teddy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a trans man who
Mm-hmm.
took a loan from a Mexican cartel to pay for his transition because his alcoholic mother stole all of his money he'd saved. And the Mexican cartel obviously changes the loan terms after you sign the
Of
paper.
course.
Because why wouldn't they? So he has to rely on his ex-boyfriend to help him get out
Oh.
from underneath the loan that he now owes and can't afford to pay for. And his best friend is Shiloh. So in Shiloh's secret, Shiloh is a trust fund brat, but his daddy controls all of the money that he has. So in order to make more money, he does some maybe not so legal things because he's trying to get out from under his CEO father's thumb. And
Okay.
a stalker, so his dad hires a bodyguard for him. And so it's a bodyguard trust fund brat romance there.
Ooh.
All of these are supposed to be able to be read standalone. Once people read them, they could tell me how well we did. This one's my favorite of the series. It's book 3, Trusting Tennyson. It's also the darkest, though. A lot of the books deal with pretty heavy themes. They have really pretty bright colored covers, but they do tend to have a lot of dark themes in them. So this one is about a boy who thinks he's going to meet his online boyfriend, and he's lured into a sex trafficking ring run by
Ooh.
the cartel from the first book.
Ah.
So it's him, the boy who was forced to lure him in, and then an undercover FBI agent, and they're trying to escape. So that one's quite a bit darker than the other two. The other two aren't exactly light, but that one's probably the darkest one. And then my fourth one in that series is Loving Lennox. It's also one of my favorites. That one is about a homeless boy who you initially meet in Shiloh's secret.
Mm-hmm.
He falls in love with his new roommate, Lennox. So it's kind of a roommates to lovers romance. It has some
Ah.
dark content, but none of the darkness should be between the MCs in any of the books. So
Okay.
all external conflict. So that was my first series that I wrote that I will have with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the series I'm currently working on is my Demon Daddy books,
Ooh.
paranormal romance. So it starts
Okay.
with the Blood Demon's Pet. Blood
Mm-hmm.
Demon, who hates grocery shopping, goes to a flesh market to buy his new feeder. And he finds the other character, Aaron, who's a werewolf who can't shift correctly. So his pack ends up having him go to the flesh market so that they don't have to feed him anymore. More to it than that, but that's the basic gist. So the first 2 books are about that couple.
Oh, okay.
And then the third book takes a spin off of one of the friends. He's basically like an FBI agent, but for supernatural creatures.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
a prince, and his boyfriend gets kidnapped. Ex-boyfriend gets kidnapped back to Fairy, so he has to go and rescue his ex-boyfriend from his mom, the queen.
I
That one
love
is
it.
starting a new storyline, and I'm hoping to have the 4th book when we come because it should be releasing the week after the event. So I'm trying to get some books there early so I can have them kind of pre-saled there.
Nice.
We'll see if they ship in time.
That's always the dilemma. Will they ship in time?
They're coming from the UK, so
Oh.
new tariffs and shipping times. They may come on time and they may not. We'll find out.
So, what made you go and publish over in the UK versus somewhere in the US?
I was really hesitant when I started about doing self-publishing. I
Okay.
I don't love marketing. I really
Okay.
don't like doing any marketing at all. Like I can do it, but I don't enjoy it.
Mhm.
And I have a full-time job and a part-time job, and I just don't have the time to really dedicate to marketing the way that you really need to be an indie author fully. So I was looking at different publishing houses, and that was
Mhm.
one of the ones that it was a younger publishing house, but not so new that I needed to worry that it was a scam,
Ah,
but
yes.
not so big that I was worried that they wouldn't take an author who hadn't published anything yet. So I
Okay.
submitted the book to them with the series outline, and I was just crossing my fingers and hope they picked it up, and they did pick it up. And I've published all of those books with them, and then
Mhm.
I've published two others with them, and then
Okay.
I started self-publishing as well, so I can get the best of both worlds on it. So
Best of both worlds.
yeah, I have my two self-published ones here. Started with this one was in a collaboration with a group of other authors,
Oh.
and then I did a sequel to it as well. So I found I really liked making covers, and I can do formatting. I just the marketing is still not my favorite, but
Yeah, I don't think marketing is anybody's favorite.
no, I don't think it is. I just got to suck it up and do it.
I was gonna say, if you did a poll of all of our authors, because we're gonna have 56 authors, I am sure that most of them are gonna tell you, yeah, marketing is not the part that they love.
Nope, but I have to do enough marketing with my publishing house anyway that I'm learning some things about it, and it made sense to have kind of two incomes coming in from
Mhm.
it.
So, what got you started writing?
I always loved reading. I don't know if you can see the books behind me. I have
Mhm. A
about
lot of
13
them.
bookshelves in a house that really can't fit 13 bookshelves. So I always wanted to read, and I just was finding that like some of the stories that I wanted to read weren't out there.
Okay.
So rather than waiting for somebody else to write it, I was like, well, I'm going to write it myself. And the first book I wrote was absolutely terrible. And I mean that. She passes out, I think, every 5 pages. I found it. I was like in a handwritten little journal and I wrote it. Like
Okay.
I couldn't figure out how to transition her from one scene to another scene. So she just passes out every time.
Oh,
Um, so it's a terrible book, but I learned a lot from it. And then I
well, and
started
that's
writing
the
other for
important part.
friends.
So, do you do outlines or do you just sit down, write, and start from start to finish?
I prefer to just sit down and write and see what happens. That's what feels organic for me.
Okay.
And then I don't feel like I'm writing something that's already written. I have
Okay.
done it with an outline. This book here is the only book that I have full on outlined before I started. And that was only because I had a deadline that was 45 days away when they were like, "Hey, do you think you could give us another book? We would like it by this day, so if you published by this day." And I was like, "Oh, well, if you want it that quickly, I guess I really do need to know what the plot is, full front to end, no
Yeah.
deviations allowed." So I can do it off of an outline, but I don't find it as fun. Feels a little bit too much like work. So I try to do a little bit of both. I try to know at least a couple chapters ahead of where I'm going, but
Okay. So you mentioned you have a full-time job and a part-time job. What else do you do besides writing?
So I am a family service coordinator for a Head Start program. I
Oh,
enroll children into the program. I help families meet any needs and goals that they might have for themselves, connect them to resources in the community, do recruitment events, start to finish. We wear a lot of hats. So we can do anything from we're in the classroom doing blood pressures and hemoglobins and hearings and visions to at home making budgets with families, making sure that they've got their well childs completed. Um, so much stuff. Just depends
wow.
on what day of the week it is, what we're working on there. And then I work as a trusted advisor for the Great Start, which is unique to our county. We're one of only a few enrichment centers in the state of Michigan, and we are the only rural enrichment center in the state of Michigan. And families come in, there's an indoor outdoor play zone they can use for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then we give them resources. They get like a small pack of diapers, wipes, cleaning supplies, feminine hygiene products, cleaning products, personal care products. They'll get like a 2 to 3 day supply of something. They can come once a week to get those resources, and then they can come and just play. And it's completely free. And then we connect them to resources in the community as well if they need it. So
Wow. So your
nothing like my books.
I was going to say your day job has nothing to do with your writing.
Not really at all. I write a lot of emails, some text
Okay.
messages, but I do like data processing, graphic design for flyers, things like that. But really nothing at all like my books here.
Are you aiming for a job of only writing, having just the writing career someday, or do you love what you do and will always do that?
I love what I do, and I'd like to always do that. I know funding right now, everybody's on edge waiting to see what the government's going to do. That could change at any point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm at a place where anytime soon I could look at only writing. And I worry that I am the kind of person who, as soon as it's the only thing I'm doing, I might start not liking it as much. So I don't know if
Oh,
I would ever get to a point where I do nothing else. But I do a lot of painting and sculpting and things like that too. So
ooh,
it may be that I get to
nice.
do art and writing instead of someday in the far distant future. But
So you've got all kinds of creativity going on in your
I
brain.
try. I have this handy dandy little dragon sculpture that's coming with me to the table. He likes to join us at events.
Oh, he's
He
adorable.
will be sitting at the table watching over us, judging me just a little bit.
Dragons are always welcome at book festivals.
He joins me sometimes.
Awesome. So have you always been with you had mentioned that you had some writing that you had done and then there's that gap. Did you ever picture that you were going to be published? Has this always been a goal or how did that come about?
Always been a dream, just not one I thought I would actually get realized. I'm a twin, and she wrote as
Oh.
well. So, like, we would write together, and we always had plans that we were going to write this epic YA fairy book with twins in it, and it was going to be amazing. And then I have my friend Neva Ann is coming and sitting at the table with me as well, and we wrote
Mhm.
a series together. So I always wanted to publish. I just didn't know if I was ever going to be able to do it. And I got lucky. I got a good publisher right off the bat that
Mhm.
I'm in a different genre than I anticipated writing in when I was a teenager. I always thought I was going to do fantasy, like I was going to write the next Aragon, the next Harry Potter. And now I'm writing gay romance, but it's a genre that I stumbled upon and then fell in love with, and I learned a lot about myself reading it,
Mhm.
learned a lot more about myself writing it, and
Hey,
I'm
that's
just having a lot
perfect.
of fun. I've done a little bit of contemporary, a little bit of paranormal. I'm working on a fantasy that I may or may not finish.
Okay.
Those are a little bit harder for me. They so much bigger worlds and things to deal with.
Oh
But
yes. There is quite the world building when you do fantasy.
and every time I think I've got it, I was so excited. I had it all plotted out. But then Aragon came out. And I was like, oh, okay. So I can't write about a girl finding a dragon egg and being on the run from an empire. Okay. So we revised it and we were going to do it. And then another book came out that was a little too similar for what I was going for. So I keep finding that maybe I just need to finish it and write it and stop reading other YA for a little bit. But
So are you and your twin going to come out with any books?
I like to think so. She hasn't been writing as much lately because she got married and she had 2 kids and she works 4 jobs. So
Oh,
we
yeah,
just don't have
she
a lot
has
of
no
time to
spare
sit
time.
down together and write together. But I like to think it's still in the works for us.
Yeah, might just be further down the road when she actually has a couple of minutes.
Yeah, maybe when her kids are a little older. He's 2.5, which is right about that time where you need to have at least one eye on him
Oh,
at all
yeah.
times, but
Oh,
maybe two.
and a boy? Yeah.
They're
Uh,
sneaky at that age.
yes, they are.
I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to open the child safety lock, and he's already through it.
Just ask him, he'll help you with it.
Well, he'll shut it and laugh at me and then run away.
So, you have how many cats?
I have four actually. Only three of them are out in the main part of the house. My
Mhm.
aunt passed away, so we took her cat, and
Okay.
she's beautiful. She's a pure white cat with multicolored eyes, but she's completely
Ooh.
deaf. So she's not integrating very well with our other cats yet because she can't hear them. She doesn't know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still slowly trying to integrate and see if we can get her out of my mom's room into the rest of the house. But I have the four cats and a Siberian Husky.
Ooh, Siberian Husky.
She's
No,
beautiful, but the fur right now.
yeah, yeah, the fur. So, do your animals make their way into your books?
They haven't really yet. Um, I don't know if they. I'm trying to think. I don't think any of them have pets at the moment.
New edition. They all have pets.
Yeah, like now that I think about it, I'm not sure I've written any of my characters with pets. I'm working on a new book. They're not going to have pets, but they're shifters, so they might fit
Okay.
into some things. But I don't think I have pets. Oh wait, no, I lied. They get pets in this one. They go to a pet shop,
Okay.
but I don't think they're based off of my animals.
So, what do you like to read and how does that influence your writing?
I started reading a lot of YA,
Mhm.
and that's when I wanted to write YA.
Mhm.
But as I've gotten older, I stumbled onto male romance,
Mhm.
and I have not been able to step back out of the genre. Every
Okay.
time I try to pick up a book that's not male romance, I get like a page in, and I'm like, nope, I really just want to read this over here. And thankfully, it's a very much growing genre right now. So
Mhm.
I I have more books on my TBR that I can get through at any given time. My
Okay.
Kindle Unlimited library is fully downloaded all the time. So I'm not short of anything to read. And I think that is why I'm writing pretty much exclusively male. Um,
Okay.
I have one book with a girl in it,
Oh.
and that one was written under protest with my publisher because they really needed
Oh.
another book for their collection. And I said, I can do it, but I don't have to like it. And I did enjoy writing it, but it was a one off. I don't know if I'll go back to that world with that character for a while. We'll see.
Well, and that's the thing is like you get into where there's a genre, no matter what it is, that you really connect with. And it just makes your writing better though too, because then you're so connected with your characters that it just makes it easy to write.
And I mean, there's so much. Anything I want to read, I can find it. There's male paranormal. There's urban fantasy. There's epic fantasy. Like it is a very wide selection. So
Yes, and
I can
I
find
just
something
got
everywhere.
done actually I got done with 2 books. I of course I can't find I don't see them right offhand. Of course not because I was looking for them. Um that are male and they're kind of a romance. The first one is a romance, but it I don't consider it a your typical romance type of book. It's more of a where you're going with it's kind of more like a mystery type. It's hard to explain. But he's gonna be there, so
That'll be exciting. I'll have to search him out.
So he will be there with his books, and he'll have both of them there, and I highly recommend them.
It'll be
Uh,
nice going to some events that have some mail books there.
yes, and that I think he pretty much exclusively writes mail, I believe. But he'll be there. You can ask him.
And I can find his books. I'm always looking for new authors.
He's been writing for quite a while. He used to write under another pen name, and now he writes under his own name. So, but I've been enjoyed getting to know you and seeing what you write, and looking forward to seeing you in person. So, thank you so much for taking this time out of your day.
Well, thank you for inviting me to.
And I will see you in June.
See you in June.